All right, all you, girl.
Everybody, I've got my team turquoise sparkly shirt on.
Woohoo!
Monday, August 31st. Tomorrow's September. Can you even go there? Anyway, normally we would do our end of our month call, but we've had such great events and so many things going on. We're kind of mixing it up. So I get to do a training tonight, and I'm really excited about it because it's something I shared with Barb almost a month ago. And if you're not doing Teamsy, it's irrelevant because you can still use all of these principles. And I would tell you to reach out to me privately. I'm happy if you all reach out to me privately or you want a copy of my notes, because I watched so many of the videos so many times. I actually have a massive stack of notes. So I thinned them out to just try to get to the meaty parts of the yumminess of each of the videos. But if you do Teamsy, you pay for it every month. If you just say I or put your hands up so I can kind of see where we're at.
I know Sue does. Janet, you do, don't you? Yeah.
Okay. Miss Donna.
I'm in a trial right now.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that what I'm saying kind of makes sense. And if it doesn't, then make sure you jot that down, because I'm going to whip through this because I want to kind of get into the discussion. So I have got my cheaters on. So what I'm going to do is, okay, so I was on, Bobby and I, you guys all know Bobby Binder. She and I did an accountability chat for the month of July, and we decided we were going to do a tapping every morning to build belief on our Juice Plus business, and we were going to learn a skill. And so we looked through the Eric Worre Go Pro skills. What would be the best thing? Well, obviously sharing what we do. Why do we not open up our mouth? Like, why do I still not open up my mouth sometimes? So I was on Teamsy and I was going around, like a boot camp was coming up in July, and I noticed this email that went out and it said, normally it's like $100 or something. For $49, you get these 7 videos. You can watch them at your own leisure as long as you stay with Teamsy. It's on there under the courses or whatever. So I never lose it. And it's 7 videos. The longest one was 15 minutes, but most of them were 5 or 6 minutes. And they were all about the art of converting conversations. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so my struggle. Am I the only one that struggles? Like, I'm so excited about what I do, and yet I don't open my stinking mouth and share it. And when I do, like, it comes out. So I watched these videos, and we watched one a day, and we took notes on it, and then she and I had a conversation about it. So I'm going to share with you the juicy parts. If you have your agenda, these are the topics of each of the videos. And I'm going to share the juicy bits, and then maybe we can share what we got out of it, share what parts of it are a struggle, share, what we've been doing that works. If any of this you've been doing works. So I'm actually going to breathe through this because I think it took me about 5 minutes to read my notes. So it's pretty quick. So number 1, how to start a conversation easily. And I totally bomb in this because I want it to be meaningful, and I want to look on your Facebook page and see what you've been up to. And then I end up on your Facebook page for like a year and I just don't get to the point. So number 1 is just connect. No business stuff. No ulterior motive. Short, easy, simple, quick, one-liner. This is an icebreaker. This isn't defining our relationship. This is me reaching out and saying, hey Barb, saw you on my Facebook page, or I thought about you today and I saw a picture of a hiker or something and I thought of you. How are you doing? Just like little Janet, I saw this movie on horses the other night and I couldn't help but think of you. How are you doing? Just basic one-liners. Don't overthink it. There's verbiage on there that you can use, but literally it's a one-liner. And boy, have I bombed at that. Your whole goal is to just let them know you were thinking about them. Hey, Tammy was thinking about me and I love hiking. Isn't that cool that she remembered me? Like, that's all it is. It's a one-liner. You want to make them smile. You want to make their day. Don't overthink it. It's an icebreaker. Pick one, hit send. Pick one, hit send. One-liner. Okay. Number 2, how to get prospects engaged in a conversation. I'm good at this. Once they respond, right? Because you might you might not get a response from that one-liner. So the next month they'll come up in your Teamsy or your memory jogger and you'll send out another don't overthink it one-liner. Doesn't make a difference if they didn't respond. You just keep sending those little one-liners every time they come in your Teamsy. Number 2 is after they've responded. Even if they just give you a thumbs up, they respond, right? Ask them questions. So number 2 is just ask them questions. He said to use FORM, F-O-R-M. F-O-R-M. And that stands for family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. And you can use one of those things. Things like, hey, Barb, I saw you had a new puppy. Congratulations. How's that going? Hey, Janet, I noticed you and your husband were on a trip to blah, blah, blah. How was that? Sue, I noticed you moved to Montana. How's that going? Like, whatever gets them in conversation, then you ask them a question using family, occupation, recreation, motivation. And mean it, because these are your friends. Hey, Barb, I noticed you went on a hike the other day to Mount Rainier. Do you do that a lot? Wow, I noticed that you hike a lot. Is that your favorite place? Like, just get them into conversation, but genuine conversation. Even if they give you the thumbs up from your one-liner, say, hey, hey, how was your puppy? And you get a thumbs up. Just say, tell me more. I'm excited to hear the details. Just get them into general conversation about what they've been up to. Sound good? Okay, number 3, find a way to help or provide value, but not with your business. I bombed this area. Totally bombed it. Just find a way to help. He said he had a friend one time that he was talking to that said, God, I just am the worst sleeper. And he said, I saw a little book one time when I was out, a little pamphlet, and I just picked it up and I just gave it to him. He goes, I saw him at a meeting. I was like, hey, I saw this. And I actually did that today. The girl at the front desk where I pay my rent last month when I was in there, she dyed her hair purple. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. She goes, yeah, but every time I wash it, it just keeps washing out. It's just cheap dye. So I didn't really think much of it, but then I ran out of massage lotion and I went to Cosmoprof and I saw purple dye on sale for like $9. So I bought her a little thing. When I brought it to her today, even with COVID, she hugged me. She was like, oh my God, I love you. How much do I owe you? I was like, nothing. I have like a discount on it. It was super cheap. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to text you and send a picture of it. I can't believe you did that for me. Just little things. One, you just want to listen to them. And you want to try to provide some form of value, even if just listening to them is the value. That alone is so, impactful for them. Usually people never, Janet says something and then I'm like, hey, that's when you put cream in your coffee. And you're like, oh my God, how did she remember I put cream in my coffee? Like, people don't usually listen. So just listen to them. No poaching. This isn't about your business or your product. This is about them and you reconnecting and getting to know each other. They're your friend, or you want them to be your friend. So just be genuine. Number 4, this is the part that I need to get better at. As they're talking and sharing what they're up to, just listen. Just listen. Hear what they have to say. Read between the lines. Listen to what they say. Ask them questions for clarifying. Wow, you don't sleep so good. How does that affect your life? Or is that a problem for you? Or just ask them lots of questions and get them to clarify. This is the big thing. Look at, I circled it. At some point, they will feel compelled to ask about you. Even if you're 10 texts in, it's irrelevant. At some point, 100%, it will naturally happen. They will be compelled to ask about you. And then you can feather in what you do. I'm like, oh, I work for Juice Plus now. Feather it in. Hey, I don't know if you know, but I retired from massaging. I don't know if you know, but I had blah, 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 and now this. They're like, just feather it in using personal benefits, financial gains, like, oh, I went on a trip, or share the mission. I had, my husband had diabetes, or, I mean, we have to be careful, as we know, with claims, but you're being honest here and they're your friends and you're not poaching them. You're not trying to share your business. You're just saying, hey, Barb, I don't know if you know, but I retired a couple years ago. That's why you didn't hear from me. I've been doing massage part-time and I got a new passion now. And they're going to say, what is that? And you can say, whatever, be honest. Be honest about what is important to you and what this business has done for you. And we all started by eating the product and it made such sense and it led to other things. And that's one of the things that Terry and I were talking today about our story. It really came from this incredible product. I put it in my body. It made such a difference. I wanted to share, and just keeping it really simple, but sharing those personal benefits without making claims. Things are so much better. I'm so much healthier now. My kids are eating more fruits and vegetables, just little basic things. Like as a mom, I feel like I've got something, I'm up to something, and I got new friends, and just all the good things, the yummy parts of it. They're going to continue to ask questions. And at that point, you're planting a seed and it can transition into something. The conversation will take its natural flow, but don't pitch them. Share what you're up to. And one of the things that he said here was, I saw the ills of our country with diabetes and health issues. And he goes, I even saw it in my kids and family. And I wanted to do something about that. And now I love what I do. That may not be anything that I do, but sure, that feels really good when you say it. My family we weren't doing good. And now we're doing better. And now I'm excited that I get to help other families do that. But you have to he said, just share and let it transition naturally. Number 5 is the one that I flunked miserably. And I actually have a picture of it right here. And it's crickets. Once I reach out to you a couple times and you don't respond back, then I let it go because I think I'm bothering you. But what I'm actually doing is saying, well, you didn't buy anything from me, and so you weren't interested, so I'm just moving on. And that was like a huge, oh God, that hit me in the gut. He said most people, and that means almost all, most people are usually not going to order from you or do anything with you till after 6 to 10 follow-ups, because they don't know what they want. They don't even know what you do. They don't even know the whole story. That's why a lot of times you notice you share with somebody 2 or 3 times and they say no, and you go, they don't even know what they said no to. That's why the best stuff, the juicy stuff, comes from 6 to 10, because they kind of really at that point have a better idea of what you do. So he says, and this is where I failed miserably. When you're following up and you're getting crickets every month, or however, you star your people, they're going to continue to come up in Teamsy. Doesn't make a difference if it's been 22 months and you keep sending them little messages. You keep sending them little messages to make their day because you care about them and your friends. And when you follow up with them, there's 2 things. 1, don't send them anything. Hey Barb, I saw this little picture of Juice Plus, or I wanted to send you, I had this little recipe and I saw this little video. Oh, I so fired on that. Don't mention anything about your business on the crickets and the follow-up. And don't ask them to do anything. Just keep sending those one-liners. Hey, how are you doing? Or I saw on Facebook your vacation. I hope everything's great. You just keep doing those little one-liners. You just want to keep you fresh in their mind. Because when they're ready, they're going to be like, oh my God, I haven't reached out to Barb in forever. And every month she's like, hey, I saw your cute puppy, and your kids are so cute, and I can't believe they're growing up. And they're going to be like, oh, I'm such a rotten friend, and all she wants to do is help me. And they're going to feel safe to refer their family or friends to you. And when they're ready and when they get out of their own way, you're going to be the first person that they reach out to. But one of the things that I couldn't believe is Eric Johnson said, every time you reach out to them with those little hellos and you make their day, you're actually building trust, because somewhere deep in their mind, they had a great idea of wanting to eat Juice Plus or join your team, and their brain was like, oh, you can't trust her, and you can't trust this, and this is bad. And every time you're reaching out, you're building that trust. And what he says is you're helping them get over themselves. I was like, I never really thought about it that way. Mm-hmm. And you're showing them that this is how you love them, and it's duplicatable. So he said, show your love, show your kindness, don't be pushy, show that you care. And when they reach out to you, they're going to remember that you didn't judge them. You didn't call them out on anything. You weren't trying to one-up them. you know, you just were genuinely reaching out to them. And then the last little two is that even after 10 follow-ups and you keep on getting crickets, they are your friends. It takes 2 seconds to send them, you know, a hello. And if you genuinely see an event or something that you think would provide value, then it's okay to ask them, you know, I thought of you because, like Barb tells us, or share a story or remind them of their goal. Hey, Barb, I remembered when we talked last year, you said so-and-so, and we have a shred coming up, and, you know, my friend so-and-so, yada, yada, and share, you know, a little bit, maybe to inspire them or say, you know, I would love to help you reach your goals. It's never too late. I want you to know I'm always here for you. And, you know, you just love on them. And the last thing he said is, don't forget your current clients. It's great to get new clients and to focus on all those prospects. But he said it's the current customers that you have that already love you, respect you, and know what you're up to. They know who you are. Don't forget about them. They're your hottest source of leads. He said you always want to connect with them. You want to stay in touch. You want to be consistent. You want to share all those free tools. You don't have to send them all at the same time. You know, you're going to connect with them once a month. 1 month, maybe send them a recipe or the mocktail thing. You know, just, you have lots of little tools. Keep a track in Teamsy of what you've sent them in the notes. And that way you always have something to send them. And then instead of asking for a referral, ask for them to connect. Like if I'm talking to Barb and we're just genuinely talking, she's like, I was talking to my sister yesterday and she was saying how pretty my nails were. You know, I can't believe they've been growing. And you could say, you know, I'd love to meet your sister sometime if you want to start a conversation or introduce me. You want to ask for the introduction. And then it goes back to getting to know Barb's sister and making her day and being nice and providing value and building those relationships. And that's what the whole thing was about. And it sure did make everything feel so much easier. And we still have 10 minutes left. So don't get wrapped up in the crickets. And when you follow up, be simple and easy. Don't ask them to do anything or watch anything. Just love on them and provide value and listen to them. And that's what I got out of it. And because of that, I got a new order. And it's a woman I've been sharing with for over a year. And she ordered the orchard garden and the vineyard. She's putting her son in the study. She ordered the complete and she's shredding with me on the 9th.
Awesome.
And I like her. And now I know a lot about her and she's very sweet and she trusts me. And I won't break that trust. So what would you guys, I'd love for you like to unmute. Did anyone get any value? Did this make sense? Is it things you're already doing? Like I hear Barb saying, you know, for you, maybe Barb, you'd share that story when you first came on because not everybody was on.
Oh, well, I was just, yeah, this was just perfect. I mean, the whole idea of the crickets and everything. And there's a gal I was just sharing that it's been 6 years of just checking in, following on Facebook, how's school going? You know, she was interested in Juice Plus and then she went off to college and her mom, she had said, you know, oh, you know, I want to share Juice Plus and take it. And she, you know, quit her order and just got tied up in getting her degree in as a registered dietitian. And I just was patient and just checked in and invited her to an event every now and then, said, hey, you might want to come to this just to see if it's the same thing you're learning in school. That was my kind of way of inviting her to things. And she moved back here. I just, oh, congratulations, you know, you got a new job. Must be great to be back home. Just little, like you said, one-liners for 6 years, you guys. And out of the blue, the other day, I get a message from her saying, she just had a baby, I need that. And I congratulated her and says, you know, I just know I need more nutrition right now. I need to get back on Juice Plus. And I have, my aunt wants to order again. I want to be a rep and sign up under you. Boom. And I know if I hadn't kept in touch with her all these years, she wouldn't even know how to get a hold of me probably, but.
You might not have been what come to her mind.
Yeah. And I wasn't bugging her about, hey, you ready to be a rep? No, you're ready. Because she had said way back when, you know, it's like, well, she's off to other things. That's fine. I'm just going to follow her life and be a friend. And it paid off. So
exciting. Just, yeah, just the whole relationship. Like, come on, at our age,
feels good.
We need friends and we need
it feels good. Yeah. I like the philosophy.
That was a really good reminder for me to sometimes just do a reach out and not bring up, something that is definitely leading in the direction of asking, are they ready to get started on Juice Plus? But something I did today incidentally, which it could be helpful for someone else, is I'm going through all the stuff that we brought back from Washington. And as I'm coming across photos from like 30 years ago from friends I haven't seen in decades, I'm just taking a photo with my camera on my phone and sending it to them and say, hey, just going through all boxes of photos and saw this and thought of you. How are you doing?
Nice.
Oh,
That's
that's
a great idea.
And what a great thing to get a picture, a flashback of something from something.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
big,
you're having fun together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, that's really special. Did anyone else get a nugget or would like to share how they've been using some of these things?
Well, I have a question. Can you define crickets?
Crickets is this, I got a lead from the company and she said she was interested in Juice Plus, and I reached out to her and shared with her and we got into great conversation. And she said, I'm ready to put my order in. And I said, do you want me to help you with that? And she said, no, I can do it online. And then the next day I texted her and said, oh, I didn't see it online, and I never heard back. And then the day after I texted her again and I never heard back. And then I waited a week and I texted her again and I never heard back. And I waited a month and I never heard back. And then I started to make her day. And the minute I did that and I took it off Juice Plus, she responded back, oh, I'm having some financial difficulties due to COVID. And then I've been keeping her once a month, and now I'm just not hearing back like at all. And I can see on Messenger that she can see my message, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not calling her out on it. I just keep, hey, I thought of you. I know you're really busy, Mom, and I'm praying that, going back to school, everything's okay for you and your kids. And I can see that she likes it. She puts a little heart there to,
That's cute.
but she doesn't respond at all. Nothing.
Crickets is another word for silence at the other end.
Dead. She gave me her child's date of birth, and she was like, and then like for a month, she was going to put her order in, and then I don't know if she died. Like, at one of my texts, I was like, I'm so worried about you. Like, I genuinely, like, she just disappeared. Like, she got abducted by aliens. Like,
I have a few of those.
Go ahead, Miss Julie.
So I have a question that's kind of related to all of this, because I feel like I'm really good at number one, thanks to Team Z. And then I'd say at least average good at number two, and then things start to fall apart a little bit at 3 and 4. But what I find for myself is that I start getting drained personally with like the 6 to 7 plus connections. And I am fully aware that I did not sign on and, from the get-go, I didn't grab this from Sue and go, oh yeah, sign me up for all the things and distributorship, and I'm gonna get with it right now. Like, I'm totally understanding that I am that typical person that needed multiple exposures, but it makes me feel very drained. How can I get over that?
I'm going to tell you what Eric Johnson would say. Eric Johnson would say, one, you're probably not following up simply, or maybe trying to send a message that really matters. And so you're spending a lot of time and energy and emotion around it. And the second place, he says, is always come from a place of love, gratitude, and serving. So keep it way light. I mean, I'm so screwed up on this. I've watched the course twice. So it's definitely, I'm not going to tell you what I would do, because I do half of it wrong, and I'm learning how to do it the right way. But he would say, if you're not coming from a place of love, come from a place of love of just, hey, Julia, I know you're really busy, or I thought of you. I just, one-liners. Your name came across my Facebook page. I saw you in my feed. Like one girl the other day, I know she's been putting on there that she's struggling. Her daughter passed away. And I just sent her a private message that said, I'm keeping you and your family in my heart. And And she's sending me a message back and said, I know you are, you know? So just little, you know, I think maybe you have a little bit of what I've got is I try to come across really meaning because I'm so afraid you're going to think I'm pitching you that it has to be this meaningful story when instead it could be, I was thinking about you, Julia, and I know you're going back to school, or, you know, your kids are starting back to school this week, Julia, I'm rooting for you. Like, just, and it's just honest, simple, don't let it drain you. Don't try to get it. If these are cricket people, you're not going to get into big conversation with them. You just want to send little, I was thinking about you today. You know, even if it's just a little meme that, you know, at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's got a little meme of drinking coffee and just say, happy Saturday. You were in my
You
thoughts.
know, I remember something else that he shared in the boot camp that I took is that even by doing that, even if they don't respond at all, crickets, right? The fact that you've reached out through Messenger, if we're talking Facebook, means you're going to show up on their feed on Facebook more often. So if you're posting exciting things about your life and you're occasionally putting those these curiosity posts out there, they're going to start seeing them on their feed if they're on Facebook. And that way, that's your way without directly pitching them. They're seeing what you're up to. They're seeing their excitement, and you know, maybe they'll, oh, what is this stuff that, you know, these gummies? My kids need that.
And I'm sure if you sent a message to Barb saying, it's back to school this week, I'm rooting for you, she'd be like, oh, you sweet thing. Like, you know, that you'd be like, oh, Julia, that's so thought. I can't believe you thought of me. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
I think you and I have I mean, I can't speak for you, but I feel like you have the same thing that I have, that I'm so nervous that you're going to take me the wrong way. I feel like I have to justify reaching out to you, and I overthink it. And you're not thinking I'm a bad person, and I'm not even bringing up Juice Plus. They're not thinking that about us. Just letting them know, hey, I thought about you today, and go out there and crush it today. I'm rooting for you. Woo woo. That's enough. Don't let it drain you. Feel good about it because you know that they're gonna smile because you would. Yeah.
All right, gals, we are out to 8 o'clock on the nose. So Tammy, absolutely fabulous. I took notes, and I've heard this before, but I need it too. And I think everybody does. This is the hard part. Make somebody's day. That's what I love about Team Z. So let me stop the recording here.